Hello, everybody. What is up? It is Martha D. Staub, owner of MDMC Entertainment. And today I forgot I had to do a show. Shout out to my wonderful intern, Sophia, who reminded me. She's like, hey, I'm almost done with this. I'm like, oh, crap, that goes to this week's show. And I look at the clock. It's Friday at 2 o'clock, 2:20 now. And I'm just like, oh, shoot. So, all right, we're just going to do a show right now. So I put back on my nice attire and I'm just like, we're just going to do a show and I'm just going to talk about this topic right off the top of my head. Shout out to all the people that are watching. I had two, now I only have one. I know this is a weird time to do a show. And I'm really sorry, but oops. I just got done doing a meeting with my videography team for LAX Fan Fest. And so I literally just got off the phone with Brendan of 1DR Productions. And you guys know, Brendan and I have worked together for a while now. It's been since 2018, I believe. Brendan has been our video guy just because he does such fantastic work. And I only work with people that I know are going to deliver fantastic quality work. So while we're getting ready for LAX Fan Fest, we're printing out, Diamond Dallas Page's prices. We have them on the table. We take all forms of payment at LAX Fan Fest. So PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. I'll take your cash. I'll take your credit cards, whatever, as long as you get to meet DDP. So I'm doing that. I've got, I got tickets. I can't show you the tickets. I'm afraid they'll get counterfeit if I show them. I mean, I literally printed them out. Like, these are so cool. And then I was going to post it. And I was like, no, someone will screenshot that and print it out and be like, I have a ticket. Be like, no, I know exactly where my tickets came from. So no. So I wasn't going to show them. You have to buy your ticket in order to get a ticket. And they're really cool. I designed them. It has the MDMC imagery and stuff. All that stuff. Let's see. I love it. Party on social media. Sorry, client stuff. So, oh man, it's just been crazy. Like I said, I just got off the phone. Facebook user says nice. Why is it Facebook user though? Oh, it's Chris Baldwin. I have to go back and look over and see who's who. But it's weird because it shows up on my side, Facebook user. So weird. Anyway, so yeah, like I have this whole LAX Fan Fest thing has been crazy. Just getting ready for it and then, getting my team set up for it. Now, typically for this team for LAX, I typically have my interns come out. But this year I'm so excited because I'm having like people that have worked these types of shows before, and then of course we have our video team, so that's Brendan and his video guy, and then a couple of other people that are going to come in and help us. So I got everyone's shirts in. Like, I've dropped a lot of money on this, and I'm hoping that everyone can see the quality of work we put into it. We got new signage, new banners, step and repeat banners. The prints just came in. I gotta go pick them up from the post office, not the post office, but my box. And yeah, it's just crazy. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. And so all of my entire head, I still have an email I got to respond back to. And I haven't because I know there's work in it. But we're just getting ready for this big event that's happening next weekend. So typically we do these shows on Thursdays at 11. Yesterday I was not here at 11. I was actually at FedEx getting my tickets done and all kinds of stuff. So I'm a little scattered, so I apologize. But one of the things as you can see, I'm back in headquarters. I was in Seattle for like 2 weeks. And that time out there was great. I, got to walk around and got my exercise in, climbed all those hills in the Fremont area. If you know where that area is, it's got a bunch of hills in it. It's crazy. But I love it. I got to do that. And then of course I had time to really sit down and think about the last quarter of MDMC and like where we're headed and what our goals are and stuff. And like, I just got off the phone with Brendan, like I said, and we're kind of feeling the same thing about businesses and stuff. And it's just like, All right. But we have this downtime to really, and not that we have downtime, it's just like I had the downtime in Seattle to like really kind of map out the future. And so, of course, with that being said, and the strong intern team that I have right now, I'm like, all right, we got to get one thing that I failed and lacked in is our blogs on our website. And so that got me thinking that's actually a really great show to have, is to talk about our websites. I don't think I've talked about websites in the past business building shows. But they're so important, and especially if you're not even doing SEO, if you're just letting it sit there in the interface of the inner space of the internet. Oof, it sounded better in my head before I said it. But um, having constant updates to your website, and by updates I mean like blog posts, things like that. If you have constant contact and content going through it, it's actually really great for your organic growth for Google, because Google then foresees it as like, oh hey, there's stuff happening on this website. And typically when you have a service-based business, a lot of service-based businesses don't have that. They're like, well, we have our website. And business owners don't really think about anything else. They're like, well, it's like the virtual business card. You type it into Google, your service comes up, people look at it, they see your work, your body of work, your services, all this stuff, and then they go to your phone number or they use the contact us and they connect with you. But people just see it as that. Business owners just see it as that. But nothing else needs to happen. That's not true. In order to like make sure that you're still up and that you're still up and doing stuff, and you're at it, and you're constantly writing that content, it's good for your website. Now, the overall view of your website, you should definitely keep updating it. And one of the things that I do, and maybe, I mean, I could probably just share my screen with you, is, let's see, share screen. I'll share the window. No, I'll share the tab. I don't want you guys to see all my tabs. But if you go to the MDMC website, this actually has a whole new look to it. I use this image. So I'll cut to the chase real quick. I actually shot a lot of photography out in New York, and I liked some of those images, but not all of them. And so when I was doing the tabloid, who do you think you are, Martha? When I was doing the billboard for Times Square, I shot this picture of me in front of my closet. I kid you not. And I looked great in it. And I don't know why, but it's kind of become the new staple, like the new image of MDMC. As a company owner, I have to be the face of it because you're going to work with me and you're going to interact with me. So this has become the face of MDMC. That's me. Let me see here real quick. One of the things that I really kind of just wanted to dive into. Oh, speaking of which, shout out to Michael K. So he's like, can you do websites? I know someone who needs one. Thanks, Mike. It's crazy. It's insane. But this picture again, the professional photography I had versus this picture won, and I don't know why. I just talked to Brendan, like I said, and he's going to shoot some new stuff for me. I just don't know when yet. We're working on it. Let's get through the LAX Fan Fest because that's where my head is at the moment. But nonetheless, this picture just seems to work, and I've seen myself 3 stories tall in this picture, and that's now my favorite. I remember when I first started the company, the picture of me in the purple, it was like a pinkish purplish top. I wore that to a job interview that I didn't get. Well, a job interview and the job that I didn't get. That was some shady stuff. Actually, there's a reason why I didn't get that. I have never talked about that, but I'll talk about it later. But nonetheless, I was really upset and really sad when I took that picture. And then, but I looked so nice in it, I just started using it as the image people would associate myself with my company. And so I hadn't used it on the website itself. I was using stock photos. I had a girl on the red carpet on here. And so there was a day I was like, you know what? This website needs to change. It needs to be updated. So I kind of like this, the lines and stuff. Like, and I've used the lines here, as you can see on the back of the StreamYard here. I use lines. I don't know why. But I found this facade and I was like, you know what? This looks really good. And in the Times Square ad that we had, Alex actually designed that. Alex from Facts of Life designed that video that played for 30 seconds in Times Square. Because for the life of me, I could not, and I don't know if I was freaking out. Well, I said I was freaking out. I guess I was freaking out. Nonetheless, I just could not get the look of who I was. What was I trying to say? What was I trying to be? And so I talk about world domination all the time. And I don't, it's just, if you put it out there in the universe, it'll eventually come back and it'll eventually happen. I think a lot of my success story comes from that. Like I said, I just got off this phone call with Brendan, so I'm all fired up. But I have been in the business of proving people wrong since day one. And one of the things the co-CEO says, you got to let go of all that crap. And I was like, absolutely not. I'm fueled by vengeance. And it was kind of funny because Brendan said the same thing. I'm fueled by vengeance. And so when we were doing this ad, I wanted it to be dope. And so for whatever reason, Alex picked something with like the continents behind it. And I was like, yo, that's cool. He's like, we're taking over the world. And I was like, oh, I love that. And so I think I was in Atlanta. I was somewhere, somewhere where you have downtime. Every trip that I have where I'm not having to walk my dogs or cook, dinner or, be present and, be a wife, I'm on my own. I have my downtime to think about me, the company, and all the things that I don't get done during the time that I'm home. And I was in Atlanta and I redesigned this website. And I found this background. It was an office with the continents in the background. I was like, you know what? That matches the billboard we just had in Times Square because I was still off that high. That was a great time. I cannot believe we did that. And to this day, it's still one of my proudest moments. So I was like, you know what? We're revamping it. And now this is what the website's going to look like. So that's what I did. This website now kind of reflects that vision. And it needed to, because before it just looked weird. It was a website that didn't really reflect me. It was, I think in another part of it was I was afraid to put myself out there. And I feel like I have that problem constantly where I'm just like doubting myself. And I just have this inner doubt, like, who cares what I have to say? You know what? People do care. And so I was like, you know what? And people need to see my face. So here's my face. And of course, I did a little blurb. I said, what is MDMC? I filmed this when I was in New York in March. I put this new, MDMC's typeface has changed. Like, I don't know what the official font of MDMC is, honestly. I just kind of go with the flow. And I'm like, yo, did you check out our billboard? And so, of course, here's the video of the billboard. I won't. You'll see what I'm talking about with the continents behind me. Right there. Alex did a fantastic job doing that. So we kind of stuck with that idea. Kind of just went with it. But anyway, email marketing. If you guys want to support us, you can sign up for our newsletter right here. But anyway, that's another thing that I added new. Active Campaign is one of my favorite services out there for email marketing. I have all of my interns working on email marketing right now because it's so important that they know how to do it before they go out to the real world. The things I'm making my interns do right now is insane. Like, they're legit going to be like not even entry level when they get out of college. They're just going to be like specialists or account managers. Like, they're going to kill it when they get out. I'm so happy. I love them. They're doing great work. Thank you, girls. But anyway, back to the website. So of course, right now I have let's see, what do I have here? So I have LX FanFest, of course. Now, of course, this website is set up to take payments and whatnot. And so I right here have this entire thing for DDP. So of course I have the poster that LX FanFest provided me. We did not make the poster, they did. And of course we have the photo ops, all of everything that we're offering the day of. People can click on it and they can view it and they can buy, add to their cart, all that stuff. And then of course we have our about section. And I think one of the New York pictures, yeah, I shot this in New York. I changed that out, put that in there. All of the, we work in all these various industries, including, so I added all that because the sidebar was kind of weird. It kind of tells my story working 9 to 5. It kind of tells you how I ended up here. Contact us if you want some more information. Telling your story and being vulnerable about it is the best way to go, honestly. I think when people understand why you do what you do, they're more likely to buy from you. That's just the fact. Request a quote. I know I gotta change these headers. I mean, they're okay for what they are, because literally that does look like my desk. That's a stock photo. But there's my email address, there's my phone number. Trust me, I get phone calls from people, things like that. MDMC Authentics. Now, this is where a lot of our traffic, when LAX FanFest isn't happening, MDMC Authentics gets a ton of traffic. So of course we have all of our things on here that we're selling, from our Funko Pops, our action figures, everything is on here. So people can like go through and shop. If you're looking for something in particular, you can shop Funko, WWE, all that stuff. So it's all here. Services, we get into all of our services. So we're digital marketing strategy. We do content creation, social media management, email marketing, website design and management, digital paid ads, all that stuff. And then we have the more. So we have merch. I actually updated the merch just recently. Again, I was in Atlanta. I had time. So here's Alex, the founder of Facts of Life. He and I said this in his birthday post. He is the toughest dude you'll ever run into, but he's wearing black and pink MDMC merch. And I don't know why. I appreciate him more than you know. So of course I added in some of my images with the beanies and the hoodies. And I added kind of like just a really cool cluster of like what the merch is. And then of course I have the merch right here. So anyone can come in if they want a t-shirt, if they want, authentics, if they want a hoodie, pins, everything's on here. Hats. I haven't even taken a picture of my hat yet. Actually, I did do one. I need to put that in here. But anyway, so there's my merch. I updated the header. Obviously, it looks different from all the other headers. Web series / podcast. So at one point, I obviously updated this because myself and the development are still doing stuff. You have a rundown of what Business Building and Beyond is every other Thursday. Probably should change that out to whenever I feel like filming, because I don't have I have a set schedule for Thursday at 11, except things happened and that didn't happen this week. I will try and get better at that, but you know how it is in the business world. Things happen and you have to respond to them. The development, of course, Lewis is still doing some stuff here and there. So obviously I wanted to highlight that you can watch us on YouTube and then you can listen to our podcast where you find your podcast: Apple, Spotify, Google, Pandora, iHeartRadio. I only listed the top ones because I think the impressive that we're even on these, to be honest with you. When I started that podcast, I never thought, I started the web series first, and it wasn't until Alex was like, you should turn that into a podcast. And I'm like, you should. And so those numbers are good. I'm really happy that I can offer my services and my expertise, if you think about it, to people out there. So hopefully, thank you to all the people that listen on the podcast, because I don't know who you are. I know where you are because it gives me the analytics, but thank you. I appreciate you. Definitely come by our social media and let us know that you listen to our podcast. That would be great. I'd appreciate it. It'd make my day. Meet the team. Of course, I highlighted the team. There's me, there's Jared, there's Eddie. my account manager out of New York. And then, of course, I have the MDMC team. This is almost current. I'm missing. Who am I missing? Oh, Maddie's there. I'm missing Dominique. Dominique's our newest addition. I will add her. I like to give my interns a couple weeks, like at least like a month or two of working before I feature them in case they bolt. Typically they don't. They stick around. Madison here, she's been with me since February of this year. So she's my longest reigning one, and then Sophia, then Natalie, and then Taylor. So shout out to those girls. Jacqueline's off doing stuff. She's still in school. Taylor graduated. She's doing stuff. Josh works full-time somewhere now. I won't say where. Ayushi and Addie, they graduated college. They got fantastic jobs because of their internship, because of me. Just kidding. But I helped in a way to get them there. So I'm really like honored and very privileged to be a part of their journey. So yeah, so clients, I don't like to put all my clients on here. I don't like to feature, which is a weird thing to say, but it's a true problem to have. I think you guys remember, and if you've been following me for a long time, you know that some of my content has been poached. And people have legitimately copied things word from word for verbatim and have printed it. And I've caught them printing it. There's a girl out in Brooklyn who literally copied everything I wrote. And she's like, I was just using it as a template. I said, this is not a template. You printed it. And then I called her out on it and she blocked me. So I still know who you are. And that happened like 3 years ago. 3 years ago? Yeah, it was a long time. Nonetheless, I know she worked in real estate and she was trying to go out on her own. And that's great. I applaud people that want to go out on their own, but don't copy my crap. And at one point, I wanted that to be like the tagline of MDMC. Our work is so good, it'll be copied by your competitor, you know? Because it's true. You have not believed how many things I've had stolen from me. And so I feel the same way about my clients. I know joke. I'm just going to, this tea time. Okay. Tea time for me here. But there's a chick I knew back in the day who used to be a talent agent or something. I don't know if she's still doing it or not. But you dumb people, if these are my clients, more than likely I have access to their emails, their correspondence, their social media, whatnot. Someone didn't realize that the email that I had for this guy right here was going straight to me. So I was working in the last job I had with the business consultant downtown in downtown San Diego. And I get an email. I hear my phone buzz in my desk because I couldn't have my phone out. I open the drawer and I see this girl who is not a friend to MDMC or myself. And she said, hey, how are you? I'd love to get you booked at some shows because I see you're not doing anything. You probably need better representation. Martha's not doing enough for you. Let me know. And I wrote back. I was like, I'm fine, thanks. I wrote back as my client because I'm like, no. And that in turn turned into a blog post of don't poach people's clients. But anyway, back to the clients. That's why I don't post all of my clients on there, because this is an easy way for someone to say, hey, she's not doing enough for you. You should do this. Work for us instead. And I think that's a reason why booking agents have a very hard time releasing their list to people, because they're like, I don't want to get poached. Because that's a real thing. People have no shame in taking away your clients and taking the money out of your bag. And that's one of the reasons why, like, I have my older client here, Final Touch Jewelry, but people are so stupid that they're going to try to poach somebody when they don't realize, hello, I manage this shit. Like, I manage these accounts. Of course that email is going to come to my desk. So of course, like, it's savage and it's ridiculous. So that's why the ones I listed, I know I don't know if they'll ever leave me. In my mind, they'll never leave me, but these are the ones I'm most comfortable sharing with you people. I will not divulge any further unless, I'm specifically talking to somebody um that definitely has a good take on the situation, or, is looking to work with me. Then by all means, I'll give you my client list, but I ain't doing it there. Mm-mm. Keep that close to the chest. So, and I tell that to a lot of people that are working and updating their websites. I'm like, only divulge what you think can't be taken away from you. I mean, I have, like I said, I think MDMC has 16 clients right now. Not all 16 are listed. And I won't. I refuse. Um, and I know I've had my interns ask me, like, oh, why isn't so and so on here? I'm working on that account. I'm like, no. Like, we're not going to tell the world exactly who we're working with. We'll always keep that close to the chest. Anyway, so there's clients, events. All right. So our events are up to date. Let's see here. So our events, like what I end up doing here is like, all right, anything that we've done under the MDMC banner or in association with somebody, we'll list it. And this goes back to 2017. Well, yeah, around that time. So 2017 is kind of when we started. We of course list everything that we've worked in, all the shows we've worked in, where they were, what the date was, who we were with, things like that. It's crazy. We did that in 2020. That's nuts. That was right before the pandemic shut down. That's crazy. Man. There are some I wish I could delete on here, but I can't because we were part of them. You just kind of you just have to do it. Tell the people what you did. We worked with Dilo for a good while. That was exciting. We didn't have a guest for this LAX on June 4th. Ranger Stop, Paramorphicon, and of course now we have this event we're working on next weekend. So it's important to tell people you're out there doing stuff. People care about that stuff. They want to make sure that you're legit. So I definitely threw out my events out there. Of course, we have a picture with D'Lo Brown and my two interns, Taylor and Jacqueline. That was a fun day. Man, I look so different now. Like, my face was chunky then. We're definitely going to update a new picture at this LAX Fan Fest. I give you that because we're going to have the whole team decked out. These girls wore their shirts. They look so cute. I was so thrilled. That was a great show. I'm hoping next weekend is just as great. All right. So then the blogs. Now, blogs are a great way to get your website constantly filled with new content. And if you've been following the show, we're back. Last week, I talked about the push of reels. Typically, the things that I talk about on the show will end up being a blog later. And it's not me typing a blog and then reading it to you and it be a form of a podcast. I give you almost a full hour's worth of my information, and then we type out some of those things. And so it's not by word of what I said on the show. It's a different iteration of some of the things that I covered. So you will not see a transcript of what I said here. You're gonna hear like the condensed version of everything I talked about in that hour. So I know dumbasses that do that. Shout out to you. I hope you're doing well. But I know someone who writes their blogs and then will get on the microphone and consider and call it a podcast, and literally it's them reading their blog, and that's the podcast, and it's only a minute and a half long. I'm like, that is not a podcast. Oh my God. Anyway, shout out to you. I hope you're doing great with things. I haven't even, it's been a while, but shout out to you. I hope you're well. So we have my wonderful interns are writing the content. So here's how it works. Because there's times I have to write them, because there are instances where things happen and I have to speak on it. And I'm like, no, this one's mine. I will talk about this. But in this case, this was pretty easy. It's like the Instagram updates. I told her, I was like, listen to what I have to say about it. and then do your research and write about what this is about. She'll turn it in, I'll look it over, I'll approve it, and then I'll post it to the website. So, and this is a great way for my interns to get some written content experience. So now they can screenshot this and send it over and put it in their portfolio. They're like, oh, look, I wrote blogs. Blogs are still a very big deal. They still pick up, any of these blogs can still add to your keywords. When people start looking you up, it's great for organic search. And it's also great for Google to see that this website is current, it's being updated constantly, there are new things coming all the time. So next week, you'll see the blog about this, about why it's important to redesign and update your website. So keep an eye out on that. Follow our social medias so that you can see that. And it's a condensed version, like I said. So, we got some reels in here. We talked about the Funkos, why Funko Pop is hot on the collector's list. We talked about email marketing is important to you and your clients. This was the one I did a show on this, why people won't support you as an entrepreneur. That's still a very hot topic button for me. Like, it's annoying. And then, of course, we had a dip. So you'll see this. This is why I wanted to make sure that the things that I was talking about in my show align with the things that I'm talking about on the website, because I didn't want to do two different things, talking about different things, because then it just seems scattered. It's like, what is MDMC talking about? Why are we talking about video here and this over here? I want it to be condensed and a little bit more put together. And so that's why I wrote this blog in 6/20/2022. I was like, you know what? This is a topic that really made me mad. And I wrote it out. And I was like, oh, I feel so much better writing it out. But let's do a show about it. And so I'm like, all right, let's really spill some tea. And I went into this. And then that kind of just followed suit for the rest of the stuff that we have going on. So as you can see, if it doesn't have a byline, more than likely, I myself wrote that blog. Let's see. And then, of course, we had a dip in time. So this is bad. And this is a great example because I'm going to show you, I make these mistakes too. As the professional, I make this mistake too. So we haven't had a blog post since 9/6/21. And then it took about 9 months for us to post again. That's not good for your website. And I knew that. And we were just so busy and this is how we're busy. We were just we neglected ourselves. And that's the problem. And I don't know if it's necessarily a problem. Well, it is a problem. It's not good for your website. But I was so concentrated on our clients that I didn't care. I put my well-being and my company's well-being ahead of my clients, which is the way it should be. But now we've kind of fixed that error. And so now we're trying to be bring that continuity to the website. So, but nonetheless, all the content we bring is still very, useful. 5 mistakes new YouTubers can make and how to fix them. Social media plan, what to post, how to post. People need to know that stuff. Pinterest is not dead and you need to use it. I still stand by that. And things like that. So this is why it's important to have constant, even this. All right. So this last blog was 7/6/21. And then the one before it was 5/14/21. So that's a good month and a half break in between that. That's still bad. So we're trying our best to be a little bit more on top of it week by week. So that's why you have a blog last week, 9/12. You should have another one by 9/19. So that's the point. So to make sure that my messaging of the week stays fluid across the board, whether it's in the video, in the podcast, or the blog, that my content is on par with what we're doing. So there's that. It's important to have a blog, and it's also important for you to establish yourself as the authority. If you are claiming you're the best in this industry, well, tell us why. You can do that in your blog. Your blog opens the doors to educate the masses. And then on top of that, if you are doing email marketing campaigns, you now have content for that. So you can do a little blurb, be like, oh, hey, we talked about this in our weekly blog, why it's important to do X, Y, and Z. Check it out here. And you can use your email marketing to funnel people back to your website and read that and be like, holy shit, these guys know what they're talking about. Let's request a quote. That's how that works. To be able to use your content for not just one thing. Because now this blog and its post, I'm going to put it on social media and be like, hey, check this out. We wrote this blog. And use your reels, like I said last week. Create those reels, put that catchy music in it, and be like, oh, that's interesting. I should read that. And cross market into your email marketing campaigns. And it also lives on your website, and it's also great for your website. Great, healthy way to keep it alive and well and viable in the eyes of Google. All right, careers. Let's see here. Marketing. I always have this up just in case an intern comes through and be like, I want to work for you. I'm like, here's what we got. And of course I wrote it out quite lengthy about MDMC, who we are, what we do, and the requirements. And let me tell you, this ad does very well on LinkedIn. I have fantastic interns come through LinkedIn. I gotta send LinkedIn a note or something. They're fantastic. Or maybe it's the way I wrote it. I'm not exactly sure who to give credit to. I'll give myself half of it because I did write it. But shout out to LinkedIn. They do fantastic work too. If you're using LinkedIn for lead gen and stuff, great stuff. Talent agency. Yeah, this is password protected. I put that up because I think I needed a link for MDMC talent. It's this thing that I'm working on that it's a thing I go back and forth on. I think I just needed the URL to say MDMC talent. And then product, I need to delete that because I don't think that's right. Oh, professional photo op. I was playing around with the website, and it's a good thing you check out your website because now you can go in and fix the things that need to be fixed. The talent agency thing, I think I'm going to hide that from the menu because no one really needs to know what's in there just yet. So, yeah. So when you do your audit, do that. Click on everything. Make sure everything works. Make sure stuff is spelt correctly. Make sure you have images on stuff, because there are times you can put something in and then it doesn't work or it looks funky or whatnot. And it's weird because I don't like the mobile version of this because then my header looks funny. The header and the text are on top of each other. It's weird. Typically you can edit, and it depends on who manages your website or whatnot. You can edit the way the mobile looks. And for whatever reason, I cannot edit the way the mobile looks. It just looks dumb when you go into it mobile wise. But on desktop, it looks fucking beautiful. I love my website. And I don't know how many people out there do this. But after 6 months, I get tired of it. And I'm like, it's time for an update. And so I'm actually waiting for the Diamond Dallas page signing to end. And then I'm working on a new website that goes into the new year. So I'm already, even though marketing and the actual calendar says September, my head's already in January. We're already planning things for the new year. That's just how marketers are. We can schedule stuff out up to a certain point, and then we can start brainstorming on different things for the new year. And I think it's so important to get that done. And so, yeah, I love it. So one of the things that I try not to say at MDMC is that we work on websites. We don't. I do some website management, and I guess by that meaning I'll post the blogs for you. If you want a basic website that you just want it to live somewhere to direct people, sure, I can do that all day long, as long as you don't want anything custom. Because then when you get into customs, then you got to know coding and framing. You got to know all of the the important things that go into a website. I'm sorry, I can't think right now. I have a headache. But oh God, that's gonna bug me how I can't. I say this word all the time, and for whatever reason, I can't say it today. But anyway, when it gets super technical, we don't do that. You need SEO coding and stuff. We don't do that either. We can write for SEO, but we can't produce it. So like if you want, like there's a website we're working on right now. It's literally 5 pages, and that's easy. This our one of our clients wants a homepage, what they're about, who some client stuff, um a request a quote stuff, and then I think another page for something else. 5 pages, right? I'm just thinking off the top of my head of what we need. But it's about 5 pages, and a templated look will work just fine for this. They just want the information out there and to place it somewhere that it can be seen, people can use, people can request a quote, it goes to their emails. They just need something that's going to get them by. I can do that all day long. But the second you want parallax scrolling and, funky things, I can't do that. Like, that's where I'm like, nope, we're not the company for you. And I've tried. Okay. I went and some website coding, some JavaScript, some Bootstrap stuff. Not my cup of tea. It's like learning a whole new language. I'm like, no, man. And it's one of those things that makes me mad. Like, Martha, you could have learned this in high school. You could have learned this in college. And it's one of those things I go back on. I'm like, oh, I'm so stupid. I should have done this. I should have done that. And instead, I'm just like, you know what? I'll just outsource it. If you can't do it and you don't have the time to go learn it, outsource it. I think that's one of the best things that we can do as business owners, because I'll sit here and I'll try to learn it. SEO is one that I do a lot of writing for. And of course, I work directly with an SEO company. And sometimes we work hand in hand with clients and stuff. And I'm very fortunate to have that partnership. But I would love to know what they do. Like, and I've actually talked to the owner a long time ago when we were first working together at a company. I was like, you gotta teach me what you know. And he's like, no, it makes me money. His company is now, I think it's passed over to $1 million. It's $1 million company. Like, for one guy, well, actually, like, no, it's several people in that company, but it's a small company that's well off into the millions. Like, that's the dream right there. So we'll figure out SEO at some point. But nonetheless, your website, I talk to people all the time. And they say, Martha, is it really that important for me to have a website? Yes, it is. Why is that even a question? We live in the 21st century where information is at our fingertips. And if we are not putting the information where it needs to be in front of the user, we are doing us a disservice of not being able to show off your brand, what you do, who you are. Like, I'm surprised my website has this many pages, to be honest with you. And I think it's a little too much, honestly, which we're going to have to trim back at some point. I have to really think as I'm going into this and really diving into what this website is, what it's for, what its usage is. We have a lot of changes coming in the new year. So I want to make sure that those changes work before we do and move certain things. So it's one of those things I'm like, But you have to make sure that you know what elements to keep in your website. A really great software you can use to see the hottest points of your website, what people go to. And it's a super crazy software that provides you heat maps of what's happening on your site. And that software is called Crazy Egg. So what you do is you pay for, I believe it's the trial, because it has to run for longer than a week. It's got to run. I say invest in this software if you're really going to move on and change your website, and you want to be serious about what the company and the type of people that you're attracting and where they're clicking. This is a great indicator to map it out, and it will literally map it out of where people go, their interest, how long they stay there, and why they go there. And so I would let Crazy Egg run for like a month, maybe 2. Pay for 2 months of it. Get that data and restructure your website in that way so that you're you're really catering to the people you're talking to, the people that end up becoming your clients. Because then that tells you, okay, they spend a lot of time here. We should really focus on this. Oh, people don't spend enough time here, or they don't spend any time here. Maybe we should just get rid of it altogether. This will really scope out what your website is doing for you and your company. And so I highly suggest you doing it. It's crazy. I love seeing heat maps, and I love seeing people's rhythm of using your website and how they do it, what patterns they use. It's pretty compelling stuff. Like, it's pretty awesome. I love it. So definitely look into that, and really dive into it. Really do like your own SWOT analysis in your website and see, like, all right, what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What can I work on? All that stuff. Map it out. Be really thoughtful about it, and then move forward with it, and then try it out and see what happens. The good thing about websites is that they're interchangeable. You're never married to a site. As I said, I think I change my site probably every 6 months. There's going to be a day I walk into this website and I'm like, I hate this. Like, why is my face even here? And I may not be happy about that picture. And I try to shoot new content at least once a year, like professional content. This is not a professional photo though, but I look fantastic. And it's kind of funny because I I got the new signage for LAX Fan Fest, and that picture is on that new banner. And I'm like, wow, it looks so good. And I sit there and I think I shot that by myself in front of my closet. And of course, you can't see the closet because I photoshopped it. But I'm like, your capability can do anything as long as you set your mind to it and you work at it. It's insane. I think that's the same picture that was 3 stories tall in Times Square. It's going to be my favorite picture for a while until either I look different or the hair changes. I don't know. I kind of like this hair. It's been a year of this hair and I love it. But nonetheless, your website's vital. It's important and you have to keep it up, because if you don't, it's before you know it, it's going to look dated. It's going to look gross. People are going to be like, is this company still like functioning? Like, this doesn't even look like it's alive. And you'll never believe how many businesses like don't update. They're like, oh, it's been 3 years since we've updated. What do you mean? Like, you should be doing an audit of your website at least twice a year, at the start of the year and at the end of the year, or in the middle of the year. I would say at the 6-month mark, that's when you start looking at it and start changing it for the new year. And then at the beginning of the year, you look it over, make sure that everything is in line with your focus for that new year, and let it run. And then when that 6-month mark comes back, that's in June, you can look back on it and be like, all right, well, it did this, it's not serving here, and here. That's when you make those changes and implement them into the new year, or into the next half of the year. And then when you start the new year again, you look at it and you're like, all right, it's still serving its purpose. You should probably have that conversation sooner before you always want to start the new year off on the right foot. And I always like to make huge announcements at the beginning of the year. I'm like, oh, we got this client and we did this and we did this and we did this. We have a new website. Check it out. Although every time I update the site, like I think I've made like little subtle announcements. I'm like, oh yeah, this, like, I don't really do a relaunch. Like, I try not to make a big deal of it, unless you really want to make a big deal of it and it's just turned drastic from like ugly to modern, like a before and after that really tells a story. Now that's when you should do a launch. But when I do subtle changes to the front of it, or the homepage or whatnot, I'll be like, oh yeah, I kind of changed it. Check it out. And I think I did a story on like new website or new look. Check it out. And it's funny because I remember I updated this. It must have been, it was okay. So after my trip to New York in March, is it March? Yeah. So after that trip in March, I had a whole different, like, I had a coat on. I had this really cute look. You saw the picture of the YouTube channel. I had a different look to it. So I had my face on it and I did do this whole banner, and it was a different picture And I remember when I went to WrestleCon, people were like, "You look familiar." I'm like, "Yeah, my face is on the website." They're like, "Oh, that's right. Hello." I'm like, "Hello, um, welcome." But yeah, it builds that connection and that bond with people. And that's why I try to add the human element to it. You see my interns, you see my staff, you see, different things on there, and that's fine. But, at the end of the day, it's like you want to make that connection with people. You want to make sure that it's not just some stuffy, ugly website that has nothing to it, just a bunch of services. Like, how would you trust your company in this weird company's vision of there's no people, there's nothing? How do you build that bond with a company that's elusive like that? I don't understand. And like I've told people um that own companies and agencies, I'm like, you need to put your face out there. And there's one guy out there that I've actually, again, wait, did I mention that we facilitate a lot of things? I said that in that conversation with Brendan. MDMC facilitates a lot of things that we don't get credit for. And I really went into detail with this with Brendan on the phone. I'm like, I had so and so, I was like consulting this guy, and now he's running off and doing his own, which is great. He took all my advice, but like we never really got credit for it. And so, but one of the things that I told this person, I was like, people need to see who you are. They need to build that connection with you. And how are they going to trust you if they don't know you? And that's one of the reasons why my goofy butt does this show all the time. Because, like, I've had a client come out of this show, and it was awesome. She's a sweet person. And I was so thankful to have that person, be a client. And, you just never know where your lead is going to come from. And so to be able to use your website to show the world you're an authority in this space that you're in, it is crucial. It is dire. You need to have it. I know a lot of people say, well, I have a Facebook page. Well, that's great. But do you have anything else? Like, what else are you doing? Not many people can say anything else. They're like, oh, and I'm like, yeah, that's why you need a website. This helps you not only get that real estate out there on Google, but it's very, very helpful to not just make a connection with your audience, with your future customers. It's just an overall branding tool, and you need to use it accordingly. So update your website, go through it, do your own audit. You don't need to hire anybody for this because you know what you offer. Go through it, click on stuff. Make sure things are working. If you've got pictures of ex-employees that are in your website, get rid of them, add new stuff. And then hopefully, that will kind of get you enticed to, come into the next week and be like, you know what? I was just on the website this weekend and we need to take pictures of this, this, and this. Oh, you have an exciting project. Let's take some of those pictures and like add it to some of the aesthetics to our website. This will kind of give you a better idea of how to keep it fresh. And like I say, you should be doing an audit twice a year, January 1st and June 1st, half and half right there. You want to make sure when you go into January 1st that everything is working and everything looks great and vital places to focus on. And then on June 1st, June 6th, on June 1st, you can go back and be like, all right, what worked and what didn't. That's a great way to keep things in check. So do yourself and your company a favor and make sure your stuff is up to date so people can hire you and you can go off and continue doing the things you love to do on your own terms. So I hope this episode was beneficial to you. I hope you enjoyed watching our MDMC website and kind of understanding my thinking on some of the things. Obviously, I have my own audits I got to make. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I will still be working on LAX FanFest stuff. So if you are coming out to the area to meet DDP, let me know. Go to the MDMC website and purchase your tickets there. Don't forget, you do have to purchase an admission ticket to get into the building. So just because you buy a DDP ticket does not guarantee you access. You have to pay the admission ticket. So that is it for me. It was a weird day to do this. I'm really sorry for the impromptu, but Shout out to Sophia for reminding me. So she's the reason you guys have a show this week. If not, I would have had to do it tomorrow. And who's watching stuff tomorrow? Like, it is a weekend, and I don't expect you to be paying attention to me at all. So thank you so much. I'll see you next week for the next show. I'll actually give you a sneak peek what the next show is. Marketing automation, why they are so important. Marketing automation, everyone needs to have stuff automated. I'll get into it next week, but I hope you enjoyed the show. Show it some love. It's free to like any of our content. So like our content on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn. And also don't forget that this show is posted to anywhere you get your podcasts, on all the streaming services, Spotify, Pandora, Apple, and so many more other places. Go check it out, and I will see you next week. Bye.